Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a fascinating paradox, how the most incredibly complex human values are actually shaped by the simplest of moral stories.
So let's dive right in with what might just be the ultimate parenting question. How exactly do you teach a child to choose kindness over their own self-interest? I mean, we all want the next generation to be empathetic, but how do we actually wire a developing brain to prioritize those values?
Well, if you've ever tried lecturing a kid about rules, you know it literally goes in one ear and right out the other. But storytellers have always understood something absolutely crucial. Stories completely bypass the dry lecture. They dramatize real choices. When a child watches a character make a genuinely tough decision and face the consequences, that lesson sticks emotionally in a way a wagging finger never ever could.
Let's look at a beautiful, classic example of this in action. Picture a hardworking boy named Ali. After his dad passed away, he worked day in and day out just to care for his sick mother. Some days they barely had a thing to eat. One evening, heading home with literally their only piece of bread for dinner, he spots a starving, frail old man by the road. Ali stops, thinks for a second, then smiles and says, "Babaji, you probably need this more than I do." He hands over his only bread and goes home empty-handed. But when he tells his mom the truth about what happened, she just blesses him, saying, "What you give in the path of Allah, He never sends back empty." Fast forward to the very next day. Ali is out looking for work and stops to help a total stranger push a broken-down car. No hesitation, no asking for a reward. The stranger is so moved by his honest hustle that he offers Ali a job on the spot. Years go by, and that same honest boy grows into a massively successful businessman who builds a free school and a soup kitchen for his village. He realized his entire success began the exact moment he gave away his last piece of bread. Goodness, in some shape or form, always returns.
These kinds of stories naturally build character because, well, they target the exact themes kids already obsess over at different ages. 3 to 6-year-olds are fiercely protective of fairness, so stories about sharing hit them right in the heart. By age 5, when they might start testing out little fibs, stories about the cost of lying suddenly resonate. They learn resilience by watching a character fail, and they learn empathy by vividly imagining a character's struggles. And you know what? Academic research totally backs this up. Psychologists point out that stories invite children to intimately understand the emotional situations of characters. This triggers what they call affective empathy. The kids aren't just memorizing a rule from a textbook, they're actually feeling the emotional weight of why an action is good or bad.
And this mechanism isn't new. It builds on literally centuries of oral tradition. Take the legendary tale of Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. It perfectly dramatizes the survival value of modesty versus the deadly cost of greed. Alibaba finds a cave full of treasure but modestly takes just one bag of gold. His brother, Kasim, he tries to take a whole donkey's worth, gets totally blinded by greed, forgets the magic password, and ends up getting killed by the thieves. It's a stark, unforgettable, and frankly, brutally effective contrast.
The actual journey of this specific tale is incredible. Sourced originally from a Syrian storyteller named Hannah Diab, it was translated by French Orientalist Antoine Galland in the 18th century and added to the Arabian Nights. From there, the idea spread like wildfire globally, adapted into French films, Indian cinema, Japanese anime, and American television. It's living proof that narrative morality is a universally powerful language that crosses all borders.
To really grasp the deep philosophy powering these fables, we've got to talk about the concept of futuwa. Literally, it translates to the quality of being young. But conceptually, it's a comprehensive framework of narrative ethics. It outlines a universal morality, a wholesome personality applicable to everyone, regardless of age or gender, always striving for the highest ethical ideal.
Over 1,000 years ago, think about that. The 11th century scholar al-Sulami meticulously codified these virtues in his famous work. Just look at the sheer depth of this. It ranges from maintaining loyalty and truthfulness at all times, to actively practicing kindness, to preferring the comfort of your friends over your own. It is a stunningly comprehensive guide to simply being a good human being.
Al-Sulami actually laid out a fascinating hierarchy for these ethics. Level 1 is reciprocal ethics, your minimum standard of basic justice, basically an eye for an eye. Level 2 elevates to tolerant ethics, which prioritizes pardon and forgiveness. But the absolute peak is level 3, altruistic ethics. This is where you respond to cruelty with goodness and actively prioritize the needs of others. And that absolute peak brings us to a crucial concept, al-ether, or pure altruism. This is the highest ethical ideal in this tradition. It goes way beyond the basic golden rule. It's not just treating others how you want to be treated. It's actually treating them better than you'd like to be treated, placing their survival and comfort entirely before your own.
The ultimate expression of this is found in the famous hadith of the thirsty traveler. Imagine a man walking through the scorching desert, suffering from intense, life-threatening thirst. He finds a well, climbs all the way down, drinks his fill, and climbs back out. But then, he notices a dog panting desperately in the dirt, literally licking the mud because it is so incredibly parched.
The man looks at this animal and thinks, wow, this dog has suffered thirst just as I have. So what does he do? He climbs all the way back down into the well, fills his leather shoe with water, holds it in his teeth to climb back up, and gives the dog a drink. It is a profound, visceral moment of role reversal. He puts himself in the shoes, quite literally, of a suffering animal, perfectly mirroring that affective empathy we try to teach children today.
This kind of radical empathy is rooted in a concept called al-nasiha, which basically translates to sincere goodwill. It's a deep, genuine desire for what is best for others, completely free from hatred or envy. And this exact idea forms the backbone of a universally understood concept you've likely heard before.
Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib actually captured the absolute core of this entire philosophical journey with his powerful take on the golden rule. Make yourself the measure between you and others. It's the ultimate empathy check. If you ever want to know how to act, you just look inward and ask what you would desire and what you would absolutely hate.
So whether it's a simple story about a boy named Ali giving his last piece of bread to a stranger, or ancient texts meticulously mapping out chivalry in the desert, the lesson is exactly the same. Understanding these values is the easy part. Living them is the real challenge. So I'll leave you with this to chew on. Is putting others before yourself truly a sacrifice, or is it actually the ultimate strategy for human survival? Thanks for watching.